It's Batman time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Batman in the Arkham Knight version. I love the Batman Arkham series. Arkham Knight, however, let's say it was a game, right? Unless you wanted to play on PC, then it wasn't. But regardless of that, it still had a very cool story, fun gameplay, and too much color. But we do get the figure right now, and I think they improved a lot because when I look at Revoltech and the Amazing Yamaguchi lineup, they had one Batman so far, which had like this weird partial cape of bits and pieces. Now we have a nice cloth cape, a big muscly Batman design, and the standard Amazing Yamaguchi super articulation. So I'm really excited to have a look at this figure. So I'm gonna do that now. Size of the Batman, he stands at about 70 centimeters to the top of his bat ear, 16 to the top of his head, which means we are going up to about 6.5 inches tall and a little over 6 to the top of that. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, Figma Isaac Clarke, SH Figure Arts Michael Keaton Batman, the Batman Hush from Mafex, Play Arts Kai Armored Batman from Arkham Asylum, and Darkseid!
Oh boy, I hate this figure. Okay, so I took him out of the packaging and the shoulder pad just popped right off. Broke off. You'd think it's on a ball joint, you'd think it's on a ball pack so it can move around. No, it's just on a pack and it moves around with the cape. So it loosens up and it just fell off completely. Speaking of falling off, as soon as I move the arm around, yeah, boom. I already tried to tighten it up with super glue, but the job has not been finished yet. I have to get back on that. So, you know, quality control of this figure is horrible. So, with that out of the way, let's get back into the overall look in detail. First and foremost, I have the white eyes right now. You do have the rotating eye feature. I'll have some pictures later where you see the pupils, but I think it looks way cooler like that. The mask looks great. It's shiny all throughout the figure, especially on the metallic parts, but in the face sculpt, I feel like the face itself, like the mouth part which is exposed, really stands out weirdly. I don't know, it looks kind of plasticky. I don't know if it's painted or not. And unfortunately, we have some white spots on the forehead, as you can tell, so we have some more quality control issues. We don't have any other paint issues, just on the freaking forehead, where it stands out like a sore thumb. Anyway, so we have the entire armor. I barely touched it. We have the entire armor with the bat symbol and also like a lot of detail in the neck actually. But I love the paint job because it's nice and metallic, it's shiny, it's sparkly. The only thing that kind of bothers me is that they always have the shiny, sparkly metallic on all of it. Even like the part of, for example, over here, the arm. By the way, this arm, super loose. This arm is also sparkly, where it's supposed to be cloth. And overall, it looks nice on the figure, but it would have looked maybe even better if you had the metallic, you know, the armor part, metallic, and the non-armor part, not metallic. And we have some more detail in his arm. You know what, I can show you better with this one, because it's on the ground anyway. So we have the gauntlets with some silver on there and the spiky part sticking out. It looks really cool. The detail on it is great. The paint on it is great for the most part. And then we have the gold belt, which is floaty, doesn't get in the way. But this one also doesn't really seem to line up, no matter how I put it. Like, it's always like a little too far off. But anyway, so we have the belt detail with some nice gold metallic. To stand out in a good way, we have some more armor parts in the back, hole in the butt for the base, and then down to the big boots. Also, like aesthetically, looking at the figure, I think he looks good, but what's up with his stubby legs? Is it just me? He looks like a child a little bit. Also, he looks a little bit super duper bulky, a little bit more bulky than he should, but that's the Amazing Yamaguchi style. They like to exaggerate a little bit. The one thing I don't like is the cape, and mostly how it's connected. First and foremost, this is not how it's in the game. It doesn't drape over the shoulder pads, and I don't know why they did that. Anyway, it doesn't really accomplish anything. Maybe if you want to drape it over the figure, but even if you would have maybe put it in the back over there, because you can't really, like, I'm already afraid if I try to put it in the back that the shoulder pad might pop off. And you can't really, because it's connected like in the middle over here. So that's not great. The cape itself, it looks nice and leathery. It's obviously plastic, and you do have some wires on there. It is freaking huge, but then again, if you look at the game, you know, when he dives off the buildings, he does have an insane cape. So it's somewhat unpractical. I think it's a little bit annoying to get it into post because it's so incredibly huge. But then again, why am I complaining about having a big cape, you know? Otherwise, I would be complaining about a small cape. Overall, the cape's fine, looks great, articulates well. Moving on. Hey guys, a little extra here. Something I didn't really address in the video, but I've seen in the footage that most of the time this piece around the neck is sticking out, and I don't think there's any articulation on it, but the way it moves, you can just push on it, and if the camera would focus right now, you can just push on the entire back part to take away some of the gaps. Well, the neck is a bit gappy if you get in closer, but again, depending on how you move the neck around and you give it a good push, it kind of sits around the neck where it snuggles in a little bit, so it keeps the pose. And once you push on that, it's not as bad, you know, it doesn't stick out as bad as during most of the review, but I never really adjusted that part. So for the articulation, even though I don't even want to touch this figure anymore, let's do our due diligence and get on with it. So hand movement is actually very nice. I love how it goes forward all the way. You know, when you want to dive off of buildings and whatnot, he can do that. Also, he does have neck articulation, has a ball in there on a long peg from what I can tell. So you have some really nimble stuff going on in there. Refusing to move that up, so let's look over here. We have one ball hinge going into another ball. As such, you can rotate it on there, and you can bring the ball up and down. And I guess there's some shifting to it. It's a little clunky, but it does work. And as you probably noticed, you have a little butterfly joint with the entire chest part moving around. It's cool, but also kind of weird, you know, when you push it together. And what kind of bat symbol is that? So engineering-wise, it's, I say, interesting, right? Then we have bicep swivel. I put another round of glue on there, so we do have a good swivel on there. But you know, the bicep's so big, you can't really move it around all the way. And then we have a ball hinge in the elbow. Can move that up and down, and I think, yeah, there's like another small ball inside of that. I don't really know what that's supposed to be accomplishing, but it does go for a nice swivel as well. Then we have another ball hinge in the fist, can bring that up and down, and also swivel it all the way around. The chest area, let me see, that goes backward quite nicely, goes forward, boom, very good, very nimble, also tilts side to side, and does swivel, I think almost all the way around. I don't want to force it too much. As I mentioned with the belt, it's on balls on the back, small ball joint, so you can move that up. And a little bit out to the side. The hip part can be rotated, can be brought back and forward. Backward movement is quite insane. Again, like for flying poses, you can do that. You can rock that. Also swiveling around, no issue there. For the legs, a little bit underwhelming. It's very simple. You have a ball in there, move it out to the side, give it a good push, move it to the back, and can swivel it around. But you also, I am holding on with my thumb because you do also have a big thigh swivel in there. So I mean, overall it's fine, but nothing too fancy about it. And speaking of nothing too fancy, this is just a big hinge for the knee. Surprisingly, it looks very good. I mean, you know, this is kind of like Amazing Yamaguchi style. And we also have a swivel hidden down here, so that's a nice added piece of articulation. And then the front part of the shoe, or more like the ankle cover, can be moved up a little bit, and the foot is on a double ball combination of the ball and the one that goes into the ankle. So we do have some shifting back and forth, shifting side to side, do have a pivot, and forward and backward movement, trying to get it into like a right angle to show you that. The forward and backward movement isn't really working that much. It's there, but yeah, not great. And finally, you also do have a toe hinge. Holy bat nipples! The accessories are actually insane. So first and foremost, you got a base. That's like typical stuff, standard stuff. But you do have like an elongated piece on the top part, I guess, for your, like, again, some more aerial pose and whatnot. And then you also, if you don't like this, you can also put on the clamp. Boom. I don't like this, I'm just gonna put it straight up his butt, because he has a hole for that, so I don't need to play around with this clamp trash. So then we have hands. We have open hands, posing hands. Well, these are like a little bit more folded, these are open. And those are to hold batarangs and all the other accessories. And we do have also the grappling hook, which this piece you can remove because you can replace it with this piece. Boom. So then you can have 2 grappling hooks. This one is a hard connection, but the other one can be removed. But it's only able to put it up in the direction I just put it in, because the pack, they didn't make it round, they made it in like specific way, which I don't get. It's really stupid, and I don't know. But anyway, you have grappling hooks if you want to play around with that. Double grappling hook is actually pretty cool. And we have some batarangs, one regular one and one with a shiny blue light. I think that's like the exploding one or whatever. The remote controlled one, right? I'm not sure anymore. It's been a long time I played these games. Then we have this to move around the eyes. Let me actually try that real quick so I can show you also. I mean, here you got the bat face with the pupils out. I mean, it's just some black dots. Nothing too special, but, you know, it's fine if you want to. You can display them however you want to. I like the option. And what's all this crazy stuff? You have all these different cards where there's just some plastic on there. I'm going to leave that on there because I'm not going to use that. But scanning for data connection, interface out of range, and you have like all these crazy things that you might remember from the game, especially the passwords, accepted, and security, access panel, hack device, hacking, and the airship stability control. That is for his little handy dandy, like the mini bat computer. I don't know what it's called, but you use that a lot in the game. You have the flip out version and the regular version, and as you can tell, both of them have a hole in order, and this. I find this quite excessive. I don't know why it extends, but you do have a peg on there. Put it in the hole, and then you have a little slide on top, or at the bottom right now. So I spin it around, and there you go. Sorry for that. And then you just slide it in there, and he can hold his little device computer, and he's hacking everything. That is really freaking cool. Final thoughts! Man, I really came around for this one, didn't I? It started off with a QC nightmare, but it turned out to be really fun. So first and foremost, I love the look. I know it's a little bit exaggerated, but that's like Amazing Yamaguchi style. Overall, the paint job and the shininess of it, it looks good. Then we get to the articulation. It's wonky, but it works for the most part. And I want to give a big shout out to the cape. I know at some point in the video I was like, the cape's too big. But that's before I really played around with it. And now I'm just kind of like in love with it, how huge it is and how many like cool, menacing poses you can create with it. And then the accessories really surprised me, actually. I didn't really expect that much, but the amount of stuff you're getting with this guy opens up a whole bunch of variety, opens up a whole bunch of cool new ideas how you can pose him and play around with him. So yeah, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, QC issues is really what this figure holding back this figure, excuse me. But I want to know down in the comments, guys, let me know about all of you who have this figure or have heard about this figure. Are the QC issues a common thing? I want to know that. Please let me know. But QC aside, I do recommend this figure. I think it's an amazing piece. It has a great look, and we'll get some very, very cool poses out of it. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Batman wants.